Men will always give to women. Men will always give more to women than they give to men. This is a subject that I have followed in my life because even though I do fall in that category, the experiences that I have had with women in my life, I have tended to not give as much as I probably could have, or as much as I see other people do in their relationships. I've probably lost a few relationships early on because I was very individualistic. What I might be called, what I see on, I don't see it this way, but what I see on the internet, Sigma. They say the Alpha, Sigma, Beta. I might consider myself a Sigma. And at times I've been tempted to be, been tempted to actually try and be a Beta, just to deal with what is going on here in life. And that hasn't worked. I do enjoy the way I am, being very individualistic, and it's not so much that I think for someone like who's like that, it's not so much they don't want to give, they just aren't really thinking about it. They consider people, they love freedom. If someone like me loves freedom, they expect someone else to be a free person. They expect them to be able to stand on their own 2 feet, no matter who they are. And more as I get older and study this dynamic, I see that there's many people who can't and probably won't. And then so you have that dynamic of man giving to woman, and even you just think of men ruled by Mars and women ruled by Venus, or you've heard of that book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Venus is essentially the planet of gifts. And so we could just say, based on that women in general love gifts. You've seen people say women love shopping, and women statistically shop more than men. And that could be the reason why. And so with that being said, it's probably never going to change. Men are protectors. The idea of Mars as a protector, a leader. And I often think more negatively around this, especially when things aren't going my way. I will often blame these types of men for being that way and not being the way I am, because I often blame them, thinking that they're getting most of the women, and at times when I'm not successful, I'm thinking that blaming them as the reason. And with this all being a natural phenomenon, that definitely isn't the case, and it's not going to change. So I don't, more positively, I don't blame men or women for this phenomena. I do think it's something that many people who fall in that category will have to be aware of and improve upon and find more balance in life as they get older. However, I don't think that's the case for the majority. They may have trouble, but I don't think they're going to have to find a balance in life, in this life in general. It's still only the minority that will have to find that balance. And I also wanted to mention more on the negative side. Well, I guess this could be negative or positive. And I wanted to say, as a man, and speaking for myself, and I think I'm speaking for this phenomena in general, men do extremely better in the competitive world of business when they have a female companion, when they're married, when they're in a relationship. And it doesn't even have to be perfect. They just do extraordinarily better. In fact, what I've noticed in myself, the difference. Although I think being the way I'm wired, I can do very well on my own. But what I've noticed in other people is I don't think that they would do nearly as well as they do without their girlfriend or wife. In fact, I think it's absolutely necessary for them. And what I've noticed is, you can't even bring up the challenge of, yeah, well, go alone and see what happens, or if someone might hear that and say, no, I would do fine alone, I would do just as well. But here's the thing: the men that I've known that do very well and that have been in the same relationship or relationships their whole life, mostly the same relationship, they would never do that. Even if something happened to their wife, their girlfriend, or they broke up with them, they would just go find another one because that's how they are. That's how they're wired. They're persistent, they're possessive, they're goal oriented. They have that like the real strong Mars alpha types. Nothing stops them. Like they will. It's like the idea of the person who would die on a battlefield. That's how they are. So they're this experiment that I'm posing, or this challenge. It's never going to happen because these people aren't wired like the beta or the alpha, or I'm sorry, the sigma. And you could even say the alpha types are kind of like, you have the idea of polarity. See, the sigma type doesn't have the polarity. It's right there in the middle. The alpha has the beta in them, the beta has the alpha in them. And I'm not going to go like deeper into that, maybe in another video, but that's definitely true. And many people might not see it, especially they might they might think that sounds counterintuitive. But if you really know people on both sides, you can see that both sides have the opposite in them, if not latent in them. And I will give an example of woman as beta, though, for sure. They will. I'll give you an example as woman as beta, where the alpha comes out. Many women who want to be taken care of, who really fall into that Venus category of wanting to be gifted and taken care of, etc. Even the traditional housewives, which I have no issue with any of this. It is what it is. But they will fight. They will persist. They will wait it out. They will search until they find the person they're looking for. And that's where the alpha aspect of them comes in. They're very strong in that sense. And you see many. This is the thing. This is the difference between maybe a sigma male and a sigma female. They will. Well, I question that if they are the way they are because they are secretly waiting for that. They're secretly, and I guess the way you would find out is later in life if they end up. Makes me think of this. Oh, this is a perfect example. There's a movie called 500 Days of Summer, and it's a great movie, especially for someone like me. And in the end, she ends up marrying someone, and that's what it seems like. It looks like she comes out as this very individualist, like questioning things and going against the consensus and trying to be different. I'm trying to remain single, and like, why do I need to be in a relationship? And then all of a sudden, she's married, and it's almost like she's playing out that story of, well, now I met someone who can take care of me, and alleviates all my fears, etc. When she was in a relationship with somebody who, you can make an argument that he was, he was needy or codependent or whatever. But from her end, she was basically it's almost like she was lying to herself, or lying to everyone around her. And then in the end, she ended up doing what most women do in general. So she was kind of like a fake sigma in a way, and that really kind of goes along with the Venus thing, where no matter how much Mars or masculinity is in a female, it almost, most of the time, it always comes down to that. And And the same thing with men. No matter how much femininity is a man, he's going to be there to really protect and give. And giving can be the idea of like fawning over a woman or giving too much or being a beta can be um, can be perceived wrongly, in that sense that it's not so much that they're doing that. They're trying to lead. They're trying to be masculine by doing that. They're just almost like um, understanding their customer and really like leaning into their customer, and what you see in business where people they give the customer what they want, and then they get the money. But yeah, the main point I want to make in this video is that how much power women have and how much power they have in the world and in this society and in the system that we live in, and they really are the driving force of man's work ethic.